Hey everyone, welcome to my Quonset hut mechanic shop I converted. Just wanted to throw a little video out there because I love seeing shop tours and garage builds. I haven't seen a ton of Quonset huts. So let's show you guys how I work every day. This is on my property. I live in BC, Canada. And I work full-time out of here. It's approximately 20-foot ceilings. We had to finish the front and rear walls, and anybody looking to do a Quonset hut highly recommend spray foam insulation. This place used to condensate and drip like crazy before. Now it stays pretty toasty warm. I have a heater in here that I run, and it's just a big electric heater. This bad boy right here. It's snowing outside today, pretty cold this morning, and within 35 minutes or so the shop is just toasty warm, comfortable to work in. Yeah, I'll just start in the corner with some of the boring stuff. Gotta have shelving to store all your junk. You know, you got paint and bolts and extension cords, big one for the welders. Oil for customer jobs. I just kind of keep everything, you know, part shelf here. When parts come, they drop off here. Coolants or chemicals, everything like that you need. Some synthetic oils up here on this rack. Scrap metal. I do lots of fabrication and random crap. You can never have enough scrap metal. Tire rack. I have a waste oil, my tranny jack. Those live in this corner. Battery charger just gets moved around where I need it to be. I built this little grinder stand out of some scrap metal I found on the property when we bought it. And the rotor's actually from a Bentley Continental GT. That thing is just massive. It's like 16 inches, so that keeps her from vibrating or going anywhere. This little Mastercraft cart is just a pretty cheap little cart, but I picked it up for my drilling and torching cart. So it's got oxyacetylene bottles on it. I just welded some brackets to it. Let's see if I can get behind here. Kind of have the hoses wrapped and hung on the torch handle. Inside looks... Sorry for all the weird camera angles here. Yep, it's just drilling, and if you got bolt issues, this is where you find the means to fix that. This is a little bit messy down there, but like sawzall, hole saws, grinders. I got the other Bentley rim or rotor down there just for counterbalance to keep this thing going, keep it from tipping over. I did put some support brackets in there though, so it won't tip over, but. Project motor. So you got this little King Canada bandsaw. This is awesome. I do lots of, shouldn't say lots, but I love doing exhaust fabrication, and you have to do charge pipes or just random stuff like that. You can get all the pies and everything cut, super clean cuts. Makes for welding really easy. Really nice clean welds. Gotta have a shop press. This is just a really tiny guy. I don't remember the measurements on it, but it gets the job done for almost everything. I think I had one thing that I couldn't do on it, but overall I'm happy with it for what I paid. A little Lincoln MIG-PAC 180. This is a fantastic little welder. This was a Canadian Tire special when they go on sale, and I think I bought this like 8 years ago or so. I've put a lot of hours into this, done a lot of projects. It's my go-to welder in the shop. And for a MIG welder, it's just fantastic for me. I was happy with it so much, I went and bought the Lincoln TIG 200 when I wanted to try getting into polished stainless and stuff. And I'm not a trained welder or a professional welder, I'm just self-taught. And this machine definitely gives you confidence because it's pretty easy to use and set up, and able to get some nice looking welds going pretty quick. I got 2 bottles and 2 regulators so I could back purge everything and keep the stainless. on. So this little gray toolbox is like my very first toolbox I've had, probably 18 years or something, maybe 15 years, I don't know. A lot of good stuff in there, but it's also kind of like just a gong show messy. I don't keep that one super organized. I'll get there one day, but. And once again, another little Mastercraft Maximum tool cart. It's not super heavy duty stuff if you were like hauling around heavy stuff all day, but this is my electrical one, so keep my scan tool, you know, connectors, multimeter, all this type of stuff. Everything to fix your electrical problems and do some light electrical diagnostics here. I kind of have diagnostic tools everywhere in different areas of the shop, but I know where everything is, so that's great. It's nice you can still wheel it around if you have to, but the Autel scan tool here, which I'm really happy with, even though mine broke shortly out of warranty, I'd still buy another one. It's a pretty great tool, and it's fully wireless too, so the Bluetooth dongle you could just hook up. You can be sitting in the shop with the vehicle running outside and still watching live data. Very cool. This would be my big snap-on box when the snap-on candy man in the truck came along and convinced me to spend all my money. Bought this as a fourth year, just before I got my journeyman ticket. I absolutely love this magnetic bracket I have bolted to the side of the box. It holds a lot of weight, and it's a great place to keep stuff. And this big snap-on pry bar, that is just so handy to have in the shop. Checking ball joints, moving heavy things, it works great. I'm happy with that. So the shop's a little cleaner than I would keep it on a normal day. I mean, I work in here a lot, but the toolbox, I keep this clean. Aside from the top gets messy, but I keep the inside cleaned and organized. No tool goes back dirty. I guess it just triggers my OCD. Lots of random bits and pieces, even sockets I've had to make. I kind of work on everything. I was just that guy. That's how I got started on my own, I guess. And even in industry, I worked in jobber shops where I had to work on everything, but couldn't say no in the beginning when I was looking for work, and it's a good way to learn a lot of skills, find a lot of tools and creative ways to fix things if you don't have the tools. I'm not going to go through every tool I have or anything or try to give a full in-depth tour, but you gotta love looking inside other people's toolboxes, right? Whoops. Gotta have a junk drawer. Gotta have vice grips. I have another drawer in my gray toolbox for fabricating, and this is kind of some of the other clamps I use too. This would be like a brake servicing one, and punches and chisels, and then just box sets, air tools, hammers. Yeah, more box sets. So overall, I'm super happy with the durability of this box. Like, geez, that's a lot of weight in that top chest, and it just opens up no problem. But in hindsight, I do wish I went and bought a cheaper, bigger box earlier on. So all of this black shelving that you see that goes around the boxes, I actually, it used to be orange, I painted it black, but I scored it all from Sears here in Canada. When they closed down, they were doing a big liquidation. You could just walk in the building and pick anything that was kind of left and make them a cash offer. So I got all this shelving, and I got all that other shelving with my oil on it for just a few $100s. I cleaned it all up. It's not like the stuff you find in box stores. It's really thick steel. It's also taller than the stuff you find in box stores. So I added some plywood to it, had some sheet metal bent up, threw some LEDs underneath on top underneath, from Amazon. It's awesome. can't have too much counter space in a shop. All the bench space you need. Let's see. That door stays pretty much permanently locked because I just use the bay doors. Little tool cart for hauling around, cherry picker. The compressors were actually here when we bought the shop. We bought the property, I should say. And it's kind of cool. They had 2 tanks, and they also have it ran. It's hard to see here, but all this is like air lines plumbed throughout the whole shop with hookups all over the place. So that was really cool. This was waiting for me, and it's a super quiet compressor, surprisingly. Most compressors I hear, you put them in a room with sound dampening, but this doesn't really bug you at all when it comes on. A little spring compressor for small jobs. Do a lot more quick struts than I do just replacing springs. Doesn't get used a ton. This shelving, I don't know if anybody ever remembers this, but Costco used to sell these snap-on kind of 8 foot long or 7 foot long red shelves. This was my first one I bought probably 10 years ago. I don't know if you could even get them anymore. Same idea, threw some plywood, but the sheet metal I got is too thin. It's got all banged up. Then I just used some of its supports I didn't need and welded them to this storage unit I reclaimed and painted. Threw a stainless top on it. And now this is where I'll clean this surface really well when I do my TIG welding. I'll set it all up over here. Got this little nifty TIG torch holder I built out of some transmission parts. And yeah, this is just awesome big storage filled with box sets. Lots of diagnostic stuff. Shop fridge, of course, that I have. This is my waste that I have to do a dump run for, catching up on me. And waste oil, kind of where everything sits until it gets recycled. Yeah, that's about it. This would be my shop truck that I built just for basically hauling parts, doing dump runs, getting rid of my waste oil, getting coffee. It's a pretty cool project. It was a 95 long box GMC C1500, and I chopped the frame, shortened it, static drop. It's got air assist suspension in the rear with onboard compressor, so I could still throw a little bit of weight in the back. It's a manual transmission, which is fun to drive, and it's cheap as hell on fuel with the V6. One day it'll get a bigger motor and some all-wheel disc and stuff, but for now I'm just happy to save on fuel with the way fuel prices are going. Customer M3. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh no, this big massive bench. This is awesome. This bench was kind of here when we bought the property, and it looked a bit different. It had it stuck out a bit here, and I chopped it up. I had a top made for it, threw a winch on it, but it's so handy having such a big bench. You can walk around it from all angles, and you know, I've had engines torn apart on here and little big things torn down. There's room for all your parts, all your bolts. Really handy. I'll throw some pictures up of what this place used to look like before, because it has come a long ways in a little bit of time. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you like it, let me know in the comments.